how do I communicate my feelings to my partner without them feeling super defensive or shutting down? This is a question that I would get all the time being a couples therapist. And so today we're going to break it down in this video exactly how to communicate your feelings to your partner without them feeling super defensive or getting totally shut down and triggered.
If you're new here, my name is Jessy.
My name is B.
And welcome to our channel. We help women heal from the inside out through breath work, energy work, and conscious coaching. So if that sounds in alignment, hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, welcome back. We're so excited for this video. So we're gonna get right into it.
So before we even start, I feel like it's very important to talk about the Gottmans. So if y'all haven't heard of John and Julie Gottman, they're amazing relationship researchers, and they do all of this really amazing research about mainly couples, and they study straight couples, but they also have studied gay couples too. So that's kind of cool. But they do talk about the four biggest relationship predictors, I should say. They're called the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. They're kind of scary. So let's go through them. Number 1, criticism. Number 2, defensiveness. Number 3, contempt. And 4 is stonewalling. So if you're recognizing any one of these 4, all 4 in your relationship, stick around because we're going to talk about a couple in particular. So typically, like, 2 of these go really like hand in hand, I would say. Typically seeing, as a couples therapist, I would see couples come in. One person would be constantly criticizing. And criticizing is what?
Not using I feel statements. It's you're doing this, you're doing that, you're so selfish, you're, yeah.
Attacking someone's character. Exactly. And it could also be using like absolutes, like you're always doing this or you never do this. So those are 2 things to really stay away from.
Dangerous territory.
Dangerous. So one person would typically be criticizing, and then the other person in response would what? Get defensive, right? Like that's a natural sort of reaction to criticism. So I would tell my couples, if you're not wanting your partner to get so defensive or shut down and stonewall you and give you the silent treatment, get so overwhelmed, maybe complain rather than criticize. So complaining is different than criticizing. So complaining is addressing a specific behavior about your partner that is causing a certain feeling in you. So rather than saying, you're so selfish, you never think about me, a complaint would be, I feel really lonely when you don't ask me how my day is going. Those are 2 very, very different sentiments, right?
Using those I feel statements are crucial to your communication flow.
Right. And so over time, like if you continue to criticize or you feel criticized, what that does ultimately is it erodes emotional safety in your relationship. Like your partner's not going to feel safe to speak up, to be vulnerable. It totally hijacks the safety of your relationship.
Right. So I have been the partner on the receiving end in a previous partnership, a previous relationship that was receiving a lot of criticism all the time. And that just totally made my walls go up. I was so closed off. And when I wasn't closed off and running away from conversations, I was being super defensive if I was engaging in the conversation with that partner.
Right. So ultimately, we also want to say that you could, if you're the person where your partner is continuing to shut down and be defensive, you could complain, you could give, you could implement all of the tips that we are saying. You could do it in the most perfect way, and it's still not in your control and not your responsibility how your partner then decides to react. So it's ultimately up to them and their whole process. Like I've been in relationships with people that I've teed this up so perfectly. Remember, like I'm the couples therapist. I have all of these things. Did I do this all the time? No, but there were times where I followed this to the T and the other person would still get super defensive, and that was on them, not necessarily me. So it's always like up to you to control and manage like your own way of communicating, and just intend that your partner meet you where you're at.
Right. I'm just thinking back to when B and I first started dating, and we're going to get into the gentle startups, but we're having a conversation. We were like still kind of figuring out how to communicate with one another, and I decided to be super vulnerable with B and be like, I feel like when we talk about our relationship and our communication, it's coming across like really intense for me. And it was just like a light went off for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's because you didn't come at me, right, and say, like, you're such an intense person. Oh, my God, I can never communicate with you. It was, like, very specific about my behavior. When we're having conversations about our relationship, the vibe feels super intense. And she even pointed out, like, my body language. You know, I would get very rigid and structured, and that was, like, a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
So I was able to, like, really hear that and see, oh, I am being kind of intense, like, because I'm triggered and I'm just wanting to get everything just right and just so. I need to be a little bit more gentle. So that kind of leads us into the antidote of, you know, criticism is a gentle startup. So if you're having a partner that is feeling, you know, that is typically exhibiting behaviors of being defensive, of shutting down, a gentle startup could work really well. So a gentle startup looks like an I feel statement, which we all love, right?
Right.
I would love those clients that I used to have in couples therapy that would say, I feel like you're not doing what I want you to do, when I would ask them to like say an I feel statement. That's not a feeling. You got to bring it back to yourself. Talk about you. I feel, you know, like Jess, I feel overwhelmed when your body language gets super intense and your vibe gets like kind of really structured and rigid when we talk about our relationship.
I feel overwhelmed when the cardigan comes on and the glasses come on and you're sitting like this and you're like with your notepad ready to get everything hashed out. I'm just kidding about the notepad, but the cardigan was real.
I love a good cardigan. Okay, so try those things. See how it influences your partner. Remember, like, this takes time. I would tell this to all my couples. Like, relationships obviously take work, practice, communication. Like, it happens over time. So don't expect this to just be a cure-all after like one instance of doing it. Do it over and over and over. Show this video to your partner so you both can like work it out and, you know, work towards healthier, better communication so that someone is not getting defensive or shutting down. And also I want to say it's important to get to the root of the defensiveness and the shutting down. So it's not just because this partner is being met with criticism and, oh my gosh, that's why I'm shutting down. No, there's like another adaptive, probably child's part in there that's running off of old stories and programs and is doing this sort of protective mechanism. So if you'd like to go deeper with that, we do couples therapy, we offer individual therapy for you to like really get into the subconscious and see what stories am I still running? What outdated programs am I still running that are then influencing my relationship? And how can I rewrite those stories? Because you don't have to be chained to those forever. So if that sounds interesting to you, hit the Calendly link below. Jess and I both will see you.
Take what you need, leave the rest, and go love yourself.